just love those like words I kept hearing, like O-line and like O-line. O-line.
You like the O-line?
The O-line.
That O-line talking sexy, huh?
I mean, does it make sense? If you got a good O-line, it doesn't matter how like tall you are, whatever. Like they allow you to do whatever you want in that pocket to have fun.
Hey, what's cracking, everybody? It's your player partner, host of the Motion Country Cousin Circle Winner the Bitch, coming at you with another episode of The Athletic Mentality. Here with my two brothers, man, my partners, Theo Jeezy and Troy Riggins. We got Big Rig Troy back in the building after being sick last week, having a little back and neck issues because the Dolphins did get the dub, not last week, but the week before last. So he was able to carry his entire fan base, but not last week. Neither did the Cincinnati Bengals get a win last week, but the Bears did. We'll talk about that shit later on, man. How you guys doing?
Man, I feel like we blew our load. I was rooting for the team so much the prior week. We just decided not to show up last week. So my back decided to take the whole week off. It hurt. Neck, everything got thrown out.
Damn. What about you, Jesus? How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good week in, week out. But the progression, what's happening? 3 plays need to come back if we're going to talk about the football game. And I'll talk more about that later. But personally, I'm high.
We're just talking about it off air real fast before we get into our team schedule and shit. We're talking about off air. There's a couple of players that are real ballers that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and then some people who are in the Hall of Fame just based off politics in general. I know a couple that I would like to name off and talk about, but are there any guys that are in the Hall of Fame that aren't in the Hall of Fame, or that are in the Hall of Fame that you guys feel like necessarily should or shouldn't be there? Troy, you want to go for it?
Should be there. Man, this has been going for years right now, is Zach Thomas. And I know it's just a Dolphin thing, but you compare his stats to, I mean, so many of the great linebackers and stuff. Like, I mean, Brian Urlacher is always that closest comparison. They always try to show the stats. But outside of that, man, that's an easy one. Super easy.
Yeah.
What about you, Jason?
To go back, if we were just talking about Torrey Holt, just the crime of the wide receiver, when he like created that type of, I mean, curl route, if you remember. I mean, Isaac Bruce was your big post. Torrey Holt was your out, your curl route, the option route, and he perfected it. And he just paved the way for so many people. Whether the numbers are like upper echelon top 10 or not, I just think he belongs.
I'm agreeing with both of you guys. Both of those are great picks. I'll go with a little more controversial pick just to like stir up some shit, get some clickbait. I think that, Josh Cribbs, the punt returner for the Cleveland Browns, should be in. He's up for it's up for debate, him, especially if we're going to be adding in Devin Hester as one of the top entries for this season. Josh Cribbs kind of put up some of the same numbers. Wasn't going off, not breaking records, but he kind of changed the game. So did Dante Hall, so did Devin Hester when it came to being a punt return, kick return, and making that a weapon in a sense. And then, of course, we all three agreed off air that Freaky Fred Taylor should be in the Hall of Fame because he did it the right way, put up the numbers, was very quiet, and did his job. And the NFL, for some reason, still doesn't want him in. It's kind of difficult to look at because you know it's politics.
Like embarrassing that it's not like already. Like it's Fred Taylor. We all watched him play. Like you can't tell me who wasn't one of the best running backs of his era.
No, for sure, man. It's insane.
Just to add on to you're talking about Devin Hester and the punt returners. Don't forget Eric Metcalf. He was also as one of the nominees and stuff. He was definitely up there with him and Cribbs and stuff like that. So I think it's crazy that they're finally recognizing these elite special team players. Like, yeah, they weren't wide receivers or anything, but you put the ball in their hand,
make a play.
That was a weapon.
Troy, break down the AFC East for me, man. How are you feeling about the AFC East going into our third week?
Going into the third week, man, Bills, they look like the Super Bowl projected team that I had at the beginning of this year. I still feel like they are the Super Bowl contender. Miami took a huge step back. And we got a lot of things to figure out. I mean, it all starts with our offensive line. And I blew up on Twitter today. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I disrespected anybody, it's not all that serious. It's on Twitter, and these people that are having a debate and then, telling me end of conversation and then blocking me. It's Twitter. There's no such thing as end of conversation. Conversation continues. But everybody knows, any football team knows, championship teams are built through the offensive line. Josh, you talk about for the last couple of years, Cincinnati Bengals' biggest weakness is offensive line. We talk about it every year. All these quarterbacks have great. Tom Brady, everywhere he's gone, they've had top offensive lines. Like Aaron Rodgers, top offensive lines. We got demolished. We have like a 36.7 PFF rating. Dead last. The next closest is like a 48. We're like so far behind, it's not even close. So we got demolished this weekend. It was embarrassing. I see the New England stepped up, I think, rebounding after us. They had a nice little easy preseason game against the Jets. I still think there's 2-3 years out before even being considered any type of like competitive team, but it was nice to see New England bounce back this week. And Buffalo all the way in the East. I don't know. It's getting really tough.
AFC North, man, still wide open. Everyone went 1-1. Those who lost last week got an easier match this week. Pittsburgh dropped one, in my vision, to the Raiders, but came back. Raiders look strong. Different discussion, different time. But I think everyone 1-1 right now. It's still wide open. Bengals dropped one. Like I said, 3 straight passes, 3 interceptions. Hard to win a game. We only lose by 3. We can talk more about that later. I think the ball game's still right there. I like the progression with the Houday Army. The Cleveland Browns do what Cleveland Browns do. Had a tough game against Kansas City, but came back and matched. Baltimore, I can't believe their schedule looks so tough, but they're just grinding out. They got that dub next to Lamar Jackson, turning around and holding on to that football, running for over 100 yards. Still think it's one of the hottest divisions in all of football. I wouldn't want to play any one of them.
The NFC North, man. The Green Bay Packers came back and proved that they are the team that we kind of figured that they would be. I mean, in a sense, I would say that because defensively, it was a matchup. I mean, the Lions are a team that know how to lose. And I brought it up week 1. I think, again, week 2, they're just cursed, man. They need to do a lot of soul searching in that industry, in that area, to like pick up and move the team or something, bro, because like it's a curse on that team. Because they had that game in hand and they were very, very close. Jared Goff, who runs slower than ant shit, literally was getting off they had a design, a design play action read for him where he actually put it off and got some good yards off. So I thought that was pretty decent, but they find a way to lose, and that's a good team set up moving forward. They need to get a couple offensive linemen, a couple receivers. And then the Green Bay Packers, again, just keeping the Lions in that game kind of proved to me as a Bears fan that, like, if we can get it together, we can start to roll as a Bears unit, we could win this division again, because the Minnesota Vikings, for some reason, they are another team that signs up to have good leads and then blow them fairly quick, fairly easy for no reason. And they have what most people would consider a great weapon when it comes to holding the lead and being able to ground and pound the ball. Like, yeah, we are in a very pass-first football league, but I truly believe that if you have a team that is well-equipped to run the ball, which a lot of the Chip Kelly offenses when he was here at Oregon and down at UCLA, a lot of the Bill Belichick offenses are kind of like run heavy, but it seems like it's pass, because the pass is so easy to get off when you run the ball down their throat and you kind of scare them. So with that, the Bears were going to be starting Jay Fields. I'll talk about that moving forward. I think that the Bears have a chance to win the division, but it is the Packers division to lose. I would say that. All right, man. So going into week 3 to start the week, tonight we have the motherfucking Texans versus the Panthers. Jeezy, talk to me. What you got on this game?
I love where Sam Darnold's headed at. I loved him out of the draft. I love him in Carolina. But more importantly, I love the defense. And more importantly, I love the Texans do not have Tyrod Taylor on the football field. So I'm going to go with the Driscoll experiment they're trying to bring up with Houston. And I don't know if he'll start, but they have that other kid. I can't even tell you his name.
David Mills.
And that's a good problem.
Davis Mills.
for the Carolina Panthers. I think if they shut down New Orleans down to 7 last week, I think they're going to have no problem minimizing what the Texans will put out with that, I guess. I mean, senior bus of running backs they have back there, and then go Panthers.
Senior University. I mean, this is easy. This is straight Panthers all the way. Defense, you putting young QBs out there, inexperienced QBs, unproven QBs. The defense, I think, surprised. I mean, would they whoop out on New Orleans last week? Surprised everybody, threw everybody's. I think everybody took the L on that one. I don't think anybody saw that.
Definitely.
Yeah, we all did.
You really called Carolina over New Orleans? Really?
No, I think we all called
I was
it.
say bettors are losing a lot of money on that. Yeah, you can't just continuously run it down their throat. Panthers are going to be ready for that. I already picked up the Panthers defense on our fantasy football because they're going to put up a couple points. It's going to be nice.
I mean, I kind of agree. I think we are in agreement with this one, man. The experiment that they're going to be pulling out and trying to like manufacture some type of offense down there in Houston isn't really good. And they brought in 33 free agents, if I'm not mistaken. So that's literally like no leadership, no camaraderie. So it's a brand new team. It's going to take a while for the Texans, especially with that whole quarterback scenarios that they have going on. I do agree. I mean, the Terrence Marshall Jr. led Carolina Panthers are going to be doing numbers.
I'm torn on this one. I really thought the Titans they came back last week and beat Seattle in Seattle, which I didn't see that happening. It showed a lot of heart, especially in that second half, like completely different team, a rejuvenated Derrick Henry. Colts defense, I can't tell if they're the Colts defense of a couple of years ago where Josh knows that number one defense in the league. Darius Leonard, I mean, always going to be one of the favorites, but is he on the decline or is the defense on the decline? They lost Walker in the offseason, but I'm going to have to I'm probably going to go with the Titans on this one. I think it's just going to be a physical game, run it down their throat, eventually break through. Yeah, I'm going Titans.
Sure. Josh, sorry.
I have the Titan as well. I think Carson Wentz is still hobbled on both his ankles. Hasn't gotten full practice yet. And I don't think that bodes well for them going against Tennessee, who I believe, in the Super Bowl. So I think Tennessee going to keep rolling, keep picking it up, just like Troy mentioned, Tennessee.
Yeah. Tennessee coming back in Seattle, that was a very, very shocking game to watch. To see Seattle crumble like they did, I'll talk about that as we bring up their game, but to see them crumble like they did, it kind of like shows some weaknesses either in their play calling or their faith as offensive line. Maybe that's because their quarterback wanted to be a Bear last offseason. Moving forward, though, and the Falcons, a game I kind of don't want to talk about because it's two teams I could give two fucks about, but I do have the Giants winning this game just based off of the electricity that comes from Daniel Jones. That man is insane. He can throw 3 interceptions in the game, but also get you a 75-yard run for a touchdown, and for some reason put the team in position to win the game. I've always been kind of like not the biggest fan of Matty Lukewarm. For some reason, the Kyle Pitts experiment hasn't worked out. Why can't you get – and I don't know what their issue was. I don't know if they thought like they needed a younger guy to catch the ball, but it's not the ball catcher because Julio Jones is what Kyle Pitts is. He just plays tight end. So it can't be the ball catcher. It has to be the ball thrower. Let's get that fucker out of town. I'll even put Felipe Franks in because he gives you that aspect of running the ball. But I had the Giants winning this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow in your footsteps. I feel like the Falcons are they can put a couple spurts together, but outside of that, that's all they got. They were impressive against Tampa. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that game should have been a blowout. I don't really know how
they had the lead at all that game.
Yeah, that was confusing.
But then 2 picks in a row.
They went back to Atlanta football. Right back to just like, we got our point. We can win this game, but we just don't want to.
All right, boys, I got to mix it up. You got to go with the Dirty Birds here. Go Atlanta. Wow. Mainly not because I'd like to. I think it's a flip of the coin. Giants have burnt me twice this season already on picks. They came a little short. Atlanta with, playing against TB as well as they did, I think they got a shot. So I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. I think as long as Matt Ryan throws under 2 interceptions, they win. Patty Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs all day. I love my boy Justin Herbert, Surfer USA, but Kansas City is just too powerful. And after like a sneaky loss they had last week, it looks like they'll be on a short week. I don't think it really matters. I think they'll be ready to go. I think they'll have that little fire to get back to 2-1 where they need to be in the driver's seat, and still a heavy favorite to win that division and conference.
I love it. Man, last year, the Chargers and Herbert, they played Chiefs. I think they beat them once, or did they lose both of them twice, like really close? I think they might have beat them once at the like week 17 or 16 or something like that. Anyways, they play him tough. Herbert has got a better offensive line this year. He's got a lot more protection, but he's kind of doing the opposite. He's got more picks than he's got TDs. I see Kansas City kind of steamrolling on this one. They're starting to pick it up. Offense is clicking. Offensive line looks really good. They're just having fun out there.
Yeah. I do think that it was shocking to see the play calling from the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Ravens, especially with like not really having too much of a threat. The Ravens had 15 players on the injury report, and I think like 6 of them are IR. And during the game, they even had injuries happen. So I don't know how the Chiefs didn't just have Tyreek Hill go over the top as a decoy and then run Travis Kelce underneath every time like they normally do. So we will see the play calling change. That's why I do have the Chiefs winning this game as an easy dub. Kenneth Murray's out for the Chargers. And like you said, yeah, Justin Herbert is starting to kind of regress. Maybe it's because like he's feeling himself a bit much, but he seems to be regressing. And in his second year, maybe it's the Surfer Boy thing. Maybe he just needs to come back.
He's making good throws. He's making good throws, but defenses are starting to like adjust to it.
It's not much to adjust to. That's the thing. I've never really seen. I mean, I think he got Rookie of the Year off of technicality because Joe Burrow wasn't able to actually put up numbers, and they always need to have a quarterback. If Joe Burrow was to play the exact same way he was playing, he was 3rd or 4th in the league in passing.
Yeah, they were
an
like,
injury, so he would have been Rookie of the Year. So they just had to give it to another quarterback. They couldn't give it to Tua because Tua was splitting reps. So I think Justin Herbert got a consolation prize as a Rookie of the Year. So a lot of people looked at him as if he was something that he's not.
But as a consolation prize, he did break a lot of passing records for like, it's not like
for the Chargers.
No, all like the whole NFL. Most passing yards, most touchdowns. Like,
again, I'll say consolation prize because Joe Burrow, when he was injured, before he got injured, was 4th or 3rd in the league in overall yards. That's like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and then it was Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow would have broke those records. So again, it's a consolation prize that he just slid into a spot.
Okay.
He needs to prove me wrong. I don't need his fan base to prove me wrong. I need to see his action.
I agree with you that he needs to prove it. I think he's regressing. Definitely.
Keenan Allen, Mike Williams is no way. Keenan Allen is the best route runner in the NFL, hands down, especially to be a dude who's 6'3" and can't separate. He's not a 4.4 burner.
No,
so like you have the greatest, besides Devontae Adams, you have the greatest receiver when it comes to separation not being touched. How can you not give him the rock? Mike Williams is a goddamn freak. Anybody with the name Mike Williams, whether it was USC or Clemson, is a fucking freak. He is an alien of a human being. It's very difficult for me to look at that offense and see that you can't get people the ball. That's just hard for me.
Cincinnati Bengals versus your Pittsburgh Steelers, folks. I got to go for my squad here. I think Pittsburgh's banged up. Ben's not practicing in full. I don't honestly think that really matters for him, to be honest with you, because it's Roethlisberger, and I don't think he probably practices much anyways, if you're taking a look at him.
He does practice.
Yeah, it kind of looks like me out there. So whatever he's doing, I'm all for it. But I think we bounce back as long as my boy Joe doesn't throw the INTs on 3 consecutive passes. Like I'm going to bring up consecutively and probably 3 times. I still think Cincinnati wins that game. I'm a homer. That's how it is. I think we go in to Heinz Field and fucking get a W, baby, because that's the season we're gonna have.
All right, Troy, what you got?
Wow. If Roethlisberger plays,
Oh, he's playing. It's just speculation.
he is playing.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
100%. Oh yeah.
Man, I'm gonna go Steelers on this one, but I do think Bengals can pull off the upset. I think it's like a 75-25. I know it's just like I think it's just like they're gonna win, but I think they can pull it off.
That
I do think they can. I don't think Steelers are that strong of a team.
We're taking control of the division right now.
You know what? I'm flipping it. I'm going Bengals on this one.
Right now.
I was gonna say, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to try and come out and they're going to be very aggressive. I did call for the Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers to split their meetings. And my split is a home and home. So I do have the Pittsburgh Steelers coming back after the loss to the Bills last week, the Raiders last week, and they might be able to get the win. I kind of feel you, Troy, with the whole 75-25. I think mine is more or less just like a 50-50 split. I'm only going with the Pittsburgh Steelers because you guys have been going with you both are going with the Bengals. But, I mean, they're both coming off losses. Both teams are. The AFC North is a very strong division with teams being able to win on the road, win at home, comeback victories, all that good jazz. So, I mean, it's going to be a really great matchup to see. But I do have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game versus the Bengals. We have the Chicago Bears going to Ohio to play the Cleveland Browns. I truly think that the Browns are a team that can be exposed. Jarvis Landry is on the IR, so he won't be playing for the next few weeks. So T's and P's to you, bro. This is a team that I do enjoy just because of a lot of the players on the team on the opposite end when it comes to the Browns. They got a lot of LSU guys there. So again, I'm a homer when it comes to that. But I do think that they're going to try and do too much because they barely scraped out that win versus the Houston Texans. A couple of good plays by the Texans, and they win that game versus the Browns last week. So I see the Bears being able to pick up and slowly start to get our wings underneath us, especially with us starting Justin Fields this weekend. The entire playbook is going to be open. Hopefully, the playbook is going to be open for him enough to where we get to see his skills showcased, and it wasn't like a bust. This is a very, very big weekend for me as a Bears fan. How do you feel about this, Troy?
I'm actually agreeing with you on this. I wasn't really impressed with the Browns' lackluster win against the Texans. And Taylor went down too. Like, they had to come in with the backup. Like, he didn't play the whole game. So, I mean, I feel like that should have been a statement game for them. I actually have the Bears. I feel like Justin Fields' first full game starter is going to be an ugly win for him. But if the Bears can use Montgomery, not necessarily just as a running back, but even out of the backfield as a pass catching back, I don't know if he's big on that, but I'm just saying on some of the plays, there's a lot. I know they got, their swing backs and everything like that, but on first down, I feel like Cleveland is a tough run defensive team to go against. So if they can do some play actions and stuff, get their receivers downfield to stretch it a little bit, maybe hit Robinson on a curl or an out or something like that, I feel like they do have a good chance. Let Fields run, or maybe even give it to Montgomery, decoy him, and then have Fields take off. And you utilize his legs and expose that defense because they're not going to be necessarily prepared for that.
Josh?
Got to stay with my division, boys. Cleveland going to win this ball game.
For sure.
I just don't think Chicago has it yet. I think getting Fields in the game, they don't even want him in there. By all accounts, they've already said Andy, if Wood healthy, will be the starter. So I think it's rushed. I hope Fields gets through it just fine, learns a lot and grows, but I just don't think it's enough this soon.
Not giving it back.
I do think everything that you've said about Cleveland, the suspect win against Houston, they did play well against Kansas City week 1. I just think there is a little bit of skepticism there, but I also think that their offense is just too much for Chicago, who did play well against Cincinnati's offense, who I'm a homer, but think is high powered as well. I just do think that there's going to be a little bit too much in Cleveland, at Cleveland.
Lions.
The Ravens and the Lions next up, man. That's going to be a pretty decent game. Defensively, I think that the Ravens have kind of like just with effort and with style and that like prestige that comes with it, they might be able to push out the dub on here. They talked about it on Monday night, how Jared Goff isn't comfortable in the offense yet because he's still reading off of a quarterback risk. And he doesn't actually get a chance to visualize the play and read the play until he gets to the line of scrimmage, which is so much time. So it kind of can be a bad look for him. So I have the Baltimore Ravens etching it out just because of what they've done last week versus the Chiefs, and this is the Lions. So
I think Baltimore's weird loss and that weird OT game with Lamar fumbling against Vegas is just kind of a blip in their schedule. I think they correct the ship. I think one of us had them going a long ways. I know who you are, and I can't disagree because of that division, and they'll be battle tested. And I think Detroit just doesn't know how to win. And I don't think this is one won't be close. I think Baltimore takes over, has a little heyday, get Mark Andrews involved a little bit more where he breaks out. Hasn't been able to break out as much as I know some of you fantasy gurus have wanted. Ooh. But I bet you have a big one with him this week. Go Baltimore.
Sure.
I'm just gonna have to say ditto. Like literally everything on that. Even Mark Andrews. Like I feel like he's gonna have a big week. Like I feel like I looked at his stats too, and I was just like, holy, it's like 2 catches, 14 yards or something like that. Like it's
targeted 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll bounce back for sure.
I think the numbers that they put up this last week and stuff will kind of replicate. It'll be like a Green Bay Packer game again.
All right, Troy, you got the next 2 games, man. Talk about your NFC East Patriots hosting the Saints.
And this is a confusing one because the Saints, after week 1, looked like the next Super Bowl team, and then after week 2 looked like the top 10 pick.
They literally look like the Saints we thought they might.
That was so confusing. Like Winston went back to just Winston. He wasn't like it. Man, that was it. It was just a Winston-like game. We had no clue what was going on. So Patriots, this is in New England. I'm definitely going to go Patriots on this. I think Mac Jones is starting to control that offense. I think having a week 2 game against the Jets gave him a good, like, it wasn't a pretty game. It was 22-7. Defense pretty much won that game. Defense is going to carry the Patriots through the season. They're just going to have to take their lumps with the rookie quarterback, but I think now he's starting to get more comfortable where he's going to be able to let it fly. So I got Patriots on this one.
I got the Pats as well. I just think we get Belichick. I think Jameis gets put into too many situations where he's having to guess on what coverage will be. He's going to blind coverages. Jameis, as we know, is not afraid to throw the football. So he's going to force it into some things. And I think I have a couple of the DBs on my fantasy team. So I'm all about that type of decision. And I just think we get Bill Belichick here. And I agree with what was Troy was saying. It'll probably not be a high scoring game. It might be 22-7 exactly. But it's going to be the Patriots.
For sure. I kind of agree with that as well. And I was thinking about picking up JC Jackson in our fantasy league just because of the fact of it being a Patriots versus Saints game. I think that the big factor that like kind of points out to what Troy said, and then I'll make it sweet about this because the Saints are going to be an up and down team all season, but the Patriots getting that easy win versus the Jets last week kind of made it to where you kind of look at Mac Jones as like, all right, as long as you don't fucking turn the ball over, you will be the perfect specimen for, again, what we talked about, a defense and run-led offense. Damian Harris is going to be that's his name, right? Damian Harris, yeah?
You got it, yeah.
Yeah, Damian Harris is going that team goes as far as Damian Harris runs. And as long as Mag doesn't turn the ball over, that defense and that run game are going to be perfect. So I have the Patriots winning versus Saints. The Jaguars hosting the Cardinals. Troy.
So Cardinals are going to smash. Like, this is an easy one. I don't think the Jaguars are anywhere near. They're even just pleading with their fans, like, hey, stay with us. And I agree, stay with them. Stay with them for these, not this season. You're going to be sucking all season. But coming in next year, a couple years from now, just like the Jets, like, stay with them. They're going to start developing. Cardinals have DeAndre Hopkins is the number 3 receiver on their team. and he's putting up big numbers this year. He didn't have like a great game last year, but that first game of the week had a good game. Man, they're doing stuff. Kyler Murray, #1 fantasy player, is just letting it fly, running around like he always does. This is going to be like 40-7.
Yeah, I think it's going to be big. AZ wins. I have Arizona rated pretty high on my power rankings, if you will. Mainly because of that rookie wide receiver who's blown up.
Yeah.
And
Rondale Moore.
Exactly. And then Christian Kirk out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, but still just consistently being there.
Yeah.
You still, and then you have AJ and you mentioned Hopkins. It's just scary what you can do. Even with a 6-foot quarterback NFL, it doesn't really matter. The kid is so good, and I think he's going to continue to get better. And I think it's going to be a big lopside for those goddamn Cardinals. I'm going to have to hear my grandpa talk about it in retirement life.
All right, Josh, real quick, just before I go, I'll sacrifice my time because I want you to kind of elaborate on that statement that you made, even for a 6-foot quarterback, because we all grew up in the era where like your quarterback had to be tall enough to see over your offensive line.
Yeah.
The game has changed so much. Like, why do you think it's best to have a natural athlete at quarterback instead of the prototype?
I think it's basically, the Russell Wilson thing, we're able to extend a play. Now, there's been people before him, but he perfected it because he could throw and was mobile just enough. Yeah. Vic could be mobile, but wasn't that accurate. Right. And I just think having a guy in your offense, you set it up for him. Even Mayfield can still throw the fucking football, and the guy's 5'11". He's not even that mobile. The offensive line is so well designed to create the pathways for you to throw the football anyways, that if you were to look over and throw over someone, you're probably in the wrong spot. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really with that elusiveness and the ability to create your own pocket is where it really comes down to. More time, make people miss. 4 yards is better than a sack. Those are all the things that Kyler Murray represents to me.
Sorry, do you want to bounce in on this and get your point in? Or?
Yeah, I just love those like words I kept hearing, like O-line and like O-line. O-line.
You like the O-line?
The O-line.
That O-line talking sexy, huh?
I mean, does it make sense? If you got a good O-line, it doesn't matter how like tall you are, whatever, like they allow you to do whatever you want in that pocket to have fun.
Exactly.
I got it, because Bills is going to be easy one to talk about. I feel like this team has figured it back out. They're back on that run like they did last year where they're just kind of dominate teams. I know they had to take it out on us to figure out how to play football again, but I think that ass whooping that they took in week 1 was kind of a wake-up call. Hoping that's going to happen for my team this week, but Washington football team, Fitzmagic is down. I like the quarterback. Was it Heineke or
Heineke?
Heineke.
We're going to call him Heineke, baby.
Heineke.
Yes, sir.
All right. I mean, he's a good football player. I just don't see that quarterback leading against the Buffalo team. I feel like they're bringing too much on offense and defense.
I'll bounce in real quick, Josh, before you go. That 4-3-quarters defense that they run up there is literally made and set up for everything to be right in front of the play. You can't kind of like be able to balance off and bounce things off, then you won't get that dub. So that's why I do have the Bills winning this game. It's going to be real easy. They're going to start. This is going to be the game that they pick up their momentum.
Yeah, baby. Bills Mafia for the fucking win. Oh, yeah. Washington, get a fucking football name, please. Like,
please pick a nickname. Retire.
Just like I'm so small media member at anything at all, and I still am annoyed. I can't imagine if I had to cover them. Give them something to call them, dude. Cleveland's got the Guardians. Like, people are making changes. Like, come on.
Amen. Broncos needed a warm-up game. I think, they are. You all right over there? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, we're good. Cool. I feel like the Patriots, Broncos are a dangerous team. I feel like they really have a strong defense. They've had a defense for a while. They couldn't figure out their offensive, identity for the past couple of years. But this year with Teddy Bridgewater, bro, I'm rooting for Teddy all year. Just one of those dudes, like Tyrod Taylor, I hate that you're down, but you were doing work with Houston. But
one of those dudes.
It's another good story. Teddy Bridgewater just needs a shot. He's moving that team. He's Sutton, all them boys, Patrick, they're getting the name back. You know, these were high top wide receiver draft picks, you know, top 3 rounds and stuff. And they were expected. I know Josh had all these dudes on his team for fantasy football for the past couple of years. And you were talking about some of these dudes high up. So now they're getting their time to shine. I got Broncos big on this one. This is probably like a 35-14 win.
Yeah, I love Denver. I love what they got on the edge. Von Miller to have a year off looks like primetime Von Miller.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, if you were listening to the podcast, you would know that you should have picked him up or made a trade because he went for 9 receptions, 159 yards. And I told you he was going to fill in those Jerry Jeudy footsteps quite nicely. So I just think it's no problem. I think they continue, and I think Teddy is likable, lovable, whatever you want, since that smile, that weird dome of his from Louisville on. It's been great. The gloves and all, baby. And I think Denver deserves it. So I hope Teddy fulfills some type of playoff run for them. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be much more. And I do think they've played a bunch of patsies. So this game is not necessarily as close as I think we think. I don't think the Jets are anything worth worrying about. So I got Broncos by a little bit.
Yeah, Broncos are definitely getting a dub out of here. I'm not going to say anything that you guys already haven't. Shout out to Teddy Bridgewater and those guys being able to put some numbers up. We're all rooting for you over here at the Athletic Mentality, Teddy. Good Dolphins, man, facing the Raiders.
Fins up. Man, we need to.
Fucking annoyed already.
Love it,
man. Whatever. It's man, I don't know. Raiders look really good, really strong. Their defenses, they're coming hard this year. I feel like the Raiders are going to have that Raider game, and I'm not saying it's against our team. I feel like they're going to have it here a couple games. I know Derek Carr is down; he's injured. I don't know if he's going to play. If it's smoke screens, I think he hurt his ankle.
Let me contact my source.
Go ahead, hit your source up. You know, see what we can get on the inside scoop. Dolphins have 2 different teams. They have a team with no offensive line, and they're going to just literally get ran through the league this year. Or they can be the team that's going to figure the line out, have it just be decent. We all know it doesn't have to be great. It's got to be decent. Your quarterback can't be taking a blindside hit from a 280-pound defensive end in 1.97 seconds. That's the reason why he has fractured ribs. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, Roethlisberger would take that hit. He would be mad. Like, he's going down too. So if they can solidify the line, they're mixing it all up. So I'm curious of what they're going to come out with. Hopefully Eichenberg gets back out there at left tackle because that dude did work week 1. Once they solidify that, I feel like the Dolphins do have a chance. I'm pulling for them. I have them in a defensive 17-14 game because Tua is out. So Jacoby Brissett is taking the reins, which, like I said, he can move the ball, but if that line is not going to block for any quarterback, we're screwed. Either way. So I got Dolphins 17-14. If the line doesn't show up, I got Raiders 28-7.
Josh?
Yeah. That was real.
I just had to laugh at that flip-flop. I definitely think that the Raiders will get this win, but I think it's close too, because I do think the Raiders will cough up something here eventually. And I have source that Derek Carr will be good to go as of yesterday, or like a couple hours ago. John Gruden said it. He said it might be questionable, but he expects him to play. So with that kind of speech, I think it'll be just fine. And they've been so surprising. Derek Carr's got to be one of the top 5, like, impressed or like, wow, where did you come from out of nowhere, throwing for 300 yards, beating the teams that they've been beating,
doing work
at home in the fucking Death Star.
Yeah,
I think they get it done.
But we're gonna move on to the Seahawks versus the Vikings. Jeezy, what you got for me?
Oh, dude, I think the Vikings are in a downward spiral. I do love my Sea Chickens. I think they're going to get this done on the road. I think Minnesota needs to get clawing back, but I don't think this is the match for them. I think Russell and the Tyler Lockett show, who Tyler Lockett's been my most impressive player after a couple of weeks. He's on one of my squads, and he's just been balling. Now, whether that's Russell or him, I don't know. K-State prodigy, baby. Get out of here, kid. Anyways, I got Seattle by at least 10.
I agree with everything except that Minnesota, I don't know, like I feel like they are on a downward spiral, but they're not. Like their game against the Cardinals this last week on the road in Arizona,
True.
they showed a lot. And if like Dalvin Cook can really get cooking, like that's a tough man. I mean, you just saw what happened to Seattle this last week when Derrick Henry started, getting the rock and was getting holes, and like they can't stop the run. And if that's something that is exposing this defense, I mean, honestly, I'm taking Vikings on this.
Perfect.
I mean, I am not taking the Vikings. I will take the Sea Chickens on this just because I think that what happened last week was kind of being at home, feeling themselves kind of like a fluke. Bobby Wagner is going to kind of get that defense wrapped up and get them back together, running out. I do hear what you guys are saying, but again, it's the Vikings, man. The Vikings are going to find a way to lose a game anywhere they can. Buccaneers versus the Rams. Is it Jeezy?
Yeah.
Let's go for it, Daddy. What you got?
Never bet against Tom Brady.
Never. We figured that out.
These last 3 games that we're going to decide here are going to be probably the hardest games of the week, which is kind of conveniently placed for us. I will go. I have so many thoughts. I'm going to go Tampa Bay. I think they stop the run. Darrell Henderson's a little banged up. Doesn't matter who's running the rock at LA. I think with Vita Vea, Sue, dude, JPP, with Vontae David, the whole front, I don't think it's ever a good deal to run the football. And I think they press Stafford too much to get a win. I think Tampa Bay wins.
I'm going to bet against Tom Brady on this one.
Crazy.
And it's not because I don't think that he's the GOAT. No. Yeah, escape. Peace out. Deuces. Do what you got to do. This is not the Rams of Jared Goff. This is Matt Stafford. I think he has a chance to throw against the defense. That Tampa, I don't think their Tampa defense is Tampa's defense of last year late. I think they have early Tampa defense problems like they had early Tampa defense problems last year.
Bay, motherfucking Packers
versus the 49ers.
49ers.
Who you got?
I, my friend, will have to go with the Green Bay Packers because my Super Bowl pick, and I think they've turned the page. I think the 49ers are nice, but I do think Aaron is coming back with full head of steam with both Aarons doing the things they need to do.
RELAX.
I don't even need to say anything.
Early in the season, RELAX. All right, and now we have the game that everybody's dreading, the game that I'm not happy to talk about because it's on Monday night, and these two teams don't deserve to be on Monday night, but I'm kind of excited about this division, so let's talk about it. Dallas Cowboys versus the Eagles. Who do you guys have and why? 30 seconds real quick.
Try.
I got the Cowboys on this one. I hate to say it. I really do it, but I feel like their offense is going to be more dynamic. Actually, no, man, I can't. I got to flip it back because watching that defense for the Eagles, yeah, I go back and forth. So I'm going to go Eag pieces.
It's okay.
I'm going Eag pieces. I can't do the Cowboys. I can't root for them. I just can't.
It's something deep down ingrained in all of us where we can't agree. We can't agree that we don't want to win with the Cowboys. What about you, Troy? All right, Josh.
I'm going Cowboys, baby. I got my mother-in-law watching my kid for $15 a day. He's a huge Cowboys fan. I got Dak and I got Zeke on the squad. That fantasy team hasn't won week 1 or week 2, but by golly, Cowboys are going to win. And I think they win big in a statement divisional game.
Yeah, see, I also have the Cowboys just because of what the defense can bring in a sense of like for the Philly offense. Dallas defense is going to outpower the Philly offense, which makes it easy for Pollard and those guys on the offensive end to come out and make some plays happen.
Yes, sir.
Can't even argue it.
All right, guys. Well, that has been the Athletic Mentality. This is season 3, episode 3. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to rock out with us, and we appreciate that. It makes us feel great. Like, share, subscribe. Hit us up on Twitter at Honor Club Media and at the AM Sports Talk. We definitely hit you guys up. For my man Troy, fins up. For my man Josh, Who that?
Breaks
Barry
a heart.
9, I am your host with the most your player partner, country cousin, Sir Winnie the Bitch. We love you guys. Make sure you tell somebody that you love them. Peace.